Greetings and good morning to everybody out there. Welcome back to Metalben Chronicles. That's right, we got a review coming at you today. A band from Dusseldorf, Germany. Yes, a band that's not well known. You know, another band that's a part of the German heavy metal, thrash metal, speed metal scene from the mid-80s. They only have 2 albums out and 1 EP. Yes, they put out First Strike in 1985. They put out their debut album, The Enforcer, in 1985. And they came back in 2014 with another album called Metal Bridge. As far as I know, the band is once again in hiatus. It doesn't really say on Wikipedia if they're broken up. I'm talking about the band Warrant. No, not that Warrant. Not the band from Los Angeles. Not the hair metal Warrant, who, you know, is famous for cherry pie. Damn, we all love cherry pie, don't we? Anyways, not to get distracted. No, we're talking about the German heavy metal band Warrant, which came out in 1985, like I said. You know, they were a trio. There was only 3 members in Warrant. So, you have, I'm not sure who plays what here. You have Jurgacek. Don't mind me, I'm reading off my tablet here on Wikipedia. And Wikipedia's not always accurate, by the way. Thomas Klein, Oliver May, and Luther Wieners. Yes, the last name is Wieners. Them are the band members. But they were a trio, so I'm sure one of these guys eventually left. I mean, it doesn't really say here on Wikipedia. But anyways, without further ado, let's just dive right into their debut album, The Enforcer. That's what we're talking about right here today. The Enforcer from 1985, people. And to me, this is a very underrated album. It's a very underrated album. I just got this in the mail on Monday, actually. It's a 2010 reissue that's got their debut EP, First Strike, on it. It's got The Enforcer, the full-length album on it. And it's got a couple of newer tracks on it. Well, they're not new anymore. They were recorded around 1999 when they got back together. And this is obviously before Metal Bridges came out. So this was released on Pure Steel Records in 2010. Pretty cool compilation, you know. Ready to Command 2010 is what this is called. You know, definitely go on eBay and order it. I definitely recommend it. Anyways, so yeah, man. You get an intro. It's a little melodic intro. Then it goes into the speed metal, The Rack. That's the opening track on here. Kind of sounds like Hit the Lights almost, with the way it begins. But yeah, really cool opening track. I mean, just great German speed metal with great guitar riffs, great drumming, raw production. Yes, the production's very raw on here, very 1985, as you would expect, because back then, you know, production was never an issue on metal albums. I don't know why the fuck it's an issue nowadays. But anyways, I digress. So you get my favorite track on here, Ordeal of Death. This track is just absolutely killer. It's got a driving riff to it, a pummeling groove to it. It's just heavy, just straight up pure old school heavy metal sounding on this track. I mean, if you like bands like Tyrant, you know, bands like Jack Panther or any band like that, you're going to enjoy this track. It's just driving heavy. I would say definitely more of a pure heavy metal track, you know, with great riffs, you know, and great vocals. The vocals remind me of Chris from Gravedigger. I can't think of his last name right now, but the vocals are kind of in that gruff, rough realm, you know what I mean? Anyways, we got Nuns Have No Fun next. Not to be confused with Merciful Fate, they also have a track called Nuns Have No Fun. Again, another stellar, heavy track with some speed metal elements in it, really good stuff, you know. We got Send You to Hell, another tremendous track, you know, just pummeling, true killer heavy metal right here. I mean, it's got a great amphetic chorus to it, you know, just really good stuff. The Enforcer, the title track, just straight up speed metal, you know, excuse me, they're probably one of the faster tracks on this album, you know, just killer heavy metal, man. Betrayer's another tremendous track on here, you know, very raw, very to the point. What more can I say? Die Young, not to be confused with Black Sabbath, who also has a track called Die Young, totally different song, you know. Again, just more stellar heavy metal. I don't know what else to say. Just more stellar heavy metal, you know. Torture in the Tower is another great track on here, I mean, you know. And you got Cowards or Martyrs to close out the album. Just great traditional heavy metal. Now, before we end this review, we're going to check out a track right now called Ordeal of Death. Get ready for a heavy metal onslaught. Alright, man, we're back after hearing that killer track, man. You know, just a tremendous track, tremendous heavy metal. You know, what more could be said? You know, very heavy guitar riffs on this track, very just traditional metal driven on this track. I mean, what more could be said? You got the pummeling drums, you got the gruff vocals, you got the catchy riffs, you got the awesome guitar solos, the raw production, everything that defines what heavy metal is, true heavy metal is. You know, it's a shame this band didn't continue on. It really is. It's a shame they only put out, you know, First Strike and The Enforcer back in the mid-'80s and kind of went away. They were on Noise Records, too. Man, Noise Records, that's another record label I miss. A tremendous heavy metal record label that was very active up until the mid-2000s. You know, a lot of great bands came from Noise Records, like Creator, Gamma Ray, Halloween, Rage, Avenger, Iron Angel, well, Avenger would become Rage. You know, you had a lot of great bands on Noise Records. I really miss Noise Records. It's one of the greatest heavy metal record labels ever, you know. Anyways, a little sidetracked. I would give this album, Warrant, The Enforcer, I would easily give it like a 9 out of 10. It's just killer, old school, in your face, raw, heavy metal. What more can be said? Alright, that is it for this review here on Metalben's Chronicles. Hell, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you love what you see. Alright. Keep it metal.